meeting of the Town of Poughkeepsie Zoning Board of Appeals. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome to everyone on a beautiful day outside. Yeah. Hopefully the agenda will go quickly and we can all enjoy at least some more of the evening. For those that are new to the workings of the ZBA, the meeting will be divided into two sections. During the first part, we hold public hearings on each of the applications that are before us. We'll do that in the order in which they're listed on the agenda. The agenda is available in that black tray next to our council's desk. During the public hearing, we'll ask the applicant to come forward and to be sworn in. All testimony before the ZBA has to be sworn testimony. Then we'll ask the applicant to give us a very brief summary of what the application is about. We have gotten the applications and we've looked through them, of course, but just to remind us of what the issue is and to add anything new to the application that they wish. After that, members of the board will have an opportunity to ask questions to clarify issues. When the board is finished, the floor will be open to anyone from the public that wishes to address that application, but that application only. And anybody from the public that wishes to add material must also be sworn in. Once we've completed the public hearings, we go into the deliberation phase. We'll go back to the beginning of the agenda, discuss each one of the applications, and take a vote. During that part of the meeting, there's no further public input, but of course you're more than welcome to stay and listen to the deliberations. Okay, with that, let's begin. First item on the agenda, Stewart Shops at 1200 Duchess Turnpike. And I'm assuming you're going to be taking care of both the Stewart's applications?
Correct.
Okay. Then if you don't mind, and if there's no objection from the board, can we deal with both of the applications for 1200 Duchess Turnpike, both the, I guess it's the variance for the setback and also the pump topper things. And so just so everybody understands, feel free to ask questions about both of those. So that would be items number 1 and item number 5. I think it'll just speed things along. When it comes time to actually vote on the variances, we'll do them separately, and we'll do them in the order that they're on the agenda. So if that's okay with you?
That's perfect.
Okay. Well, then let's see. You're going to have, well, first, have a seat and give us your name and be sworn in.
My name is Marcus Andrews. I'm with Stewart Shops. Here before the board tonight.
Okay.
So do you swear or affirm the testimony provided tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Okay. Is that working? If it is, yeah, if you can get it out, check it out.
Hello?
Hello? There you go. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so give us a brief overview of what's going on at 1200 Duchess Turnpike.
Brief overview of what we're looking to do. The existing Stewart Shop at 1200 Duchess Turnpike, we're looking to add an exterior freezer off the back side of the building. That would require the setback variance for this side yard. The existing building is 30 feet off the property line. The new freezer would put the setback at 22.3 feet off the side yard. There is a 25-foot setback for that area, so we'd be requesting a 2.7-foot variance for that exterior freezer. At the same time, we are proposing to change out the dispensers under the canopy. I do not believe there will be any canopy work to be done, just the replacement of the dispensers with the new updated dispensers. And at that time, we would like to install LED pump toppers, which are just the pricing on the top of each dispenser.
Okay, all right. All right, on the, as you may know, we are required to forward each application to the county for their review. And for 1200 Dutchess Turnpike, the county has responded with a letter which I will read into the record, and you can then respond to if you wish. To the Town of Poughkeepsie ZBA, the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the subject referral within the framework of general municipal law. Action. The applicant is seeking area variances to permit an electronic message display, EMD, sign in the neighborhood business district where EMD signs are specifically prohibited, and to permit a 22.3-foot side yard setback where 25 feet is required. Comments. While we do not oppose the variance for the side yard setback, the applicant has proposed EMD signage which the town specifically prohibits in the neighborhood business district as well as many other districts. If granted, the town would set a precedent to allow this sign type in an area it is deemed as incompatible. New York State directs that only the minimum amount of variance necessary to be granted in instances where relief has merit and where the benefit to the applicant outweighs the detriment to the community. In this instance, the applicant could install a sign with changeable copy that is not an EMD. Recommendation. For the reasons stated above, the department recommends that the board deny the EMD portion of the fuel pump stop topper. Voting and reporting requirements. If the board acts contrary to our recommendation, the law requires that it do so by a majority plus one of the full membership of the board, and that it notify us for the reasons for its decision. Owen Rafter, Commissioner, by Janet Tissier, Junior Planner. Okay, so that would mean it would be five votes would be required to approve. I don't know if you've got any comment on that.
Probably the one comment I can make on that, just looking through your code, just briefly, your code in regards to the EMD displays seems to lean more towards almost a video monitor that, you'll have flashing lights, you'll have scrolling signs. This is a stationary, it's single LEDs that spell out pretty much the price of the tank, of the gas. It's not a flashing, it actually, at night dims because you don't need as much light at night to visibly see it. So there is some, it's stationary, I guess is the best way to describe it. Mm-hmm. Not an actual display.
So the only, quote, message that it would deliver would just be a number?
Correct.
Okay, so it's not going to say,
it'll never say coffee
have
sale.
A nice
it'll
day.
Never say, no audio on it. It's strictly just $2.95.
Okay. Christine, any questions?
And you're requesting that it be 2.15 square feet instead of 1 square foot in area?
Correct. That is the size of the 3 units, the 3 pricing. That is the size of the entire box is 2.15 square feet.
Okay.
Paul?
The diagram and the picture that you showed, you have the same price for cash and credit?
Correct.
You're going to keep it that's
Correct.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
that is a standard Stewart's.
For Stewart's?
Yes.
Okay. And you really sell non-ethanol gasoline?
We do. I would assume we would here as well. I don't know if it is now. We do sell at the majority of our shops, we do sell a non-ethanol premium.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. My only question is about that EMD. Well, actually, I have two questions. On the sign itself, the 2.1 square feet, is it possible to make that smaller? Because I'm thinking that the intended audience are people probably standing right next to it. And how big would it have to be?
I can tell you those are, let's see if it actually says the size of the LEDs. No, it doesn't.
Looks like 4.5 inches high?
Which is fairly small. And you're also without other signage, even on 44, that would be your gas price, really advertisement.
Okay. Wait, now I'm trying to, is there a freestanding sign there?
I don't believe there is.
Okay. So in other words, somebody that's trying to decide whether they want to turn in and buy gasoline from you, it's the price on top of the pump that's going to tell them what.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So there's no other.
I believe now it is just the flip cards pretty much that they have to manually do.
Right. Right, and in fact, when we were out there, we actually measured them, and it turns out that the existing cards with the fixed thing are about 1.5 square feet.
Okay.
So I was kind of wondering, if we could keep it the same size, but if.
Just looking at the spec sheet for these, the majority of it is just the casing for really the controls. The numbers themselves are 4.5, I believe I heard somebody say. It's
Okay. My other question has to do with the freezer unit. What's that look like? I mean, is it what kind of a?
It's a metal box. We can get them in different colors. This is, I believe a bronze color to match close enough to the brick that is on the building itself.
Okay.
So.
And how noisy would it be?
Not noisy at all. There's nothing. What's there today for the compressor for the freezer that's inside is the same compressor that'll be there if this proposal goes through.
Okay.
It's not. There's no additional noise that it'll make.
Okay. Larry?
No questions.
Tony?
I have no questions.
Carmen?
So the price stuff, the only way the customer knows the price of the gas is getting up close to the pump?
Right now, yes. With our proposal, it'll be more visible with the LED. Right now, that's pretty much how it's done today. But they're in the flip cards that they have to manually
And you think it's
change.
going to make a difference if you made those numbers smaller?
Okay, let me interrupt for a minute, Carmen. Mike, thanks to the wonders of Google Earth, I guess, there is in fact a freestanding sign there. Yes.
Oh, there is one.
With price?
That has a price on
Yeah,
it.
it's LED already. So it's an electronic sign with the price of regular shown.
I apologize.
Yep. I couldn't remember one. Well, thank you for finding that. Okay, I'm sorry, Carmen, continue.
No. In that case, if there's a freestanding sign with the prices displayed, I don't see why the other signs on the pumps have to be that large.
They are strictly for advertising, they are. And it's no different than the signs that are there today. They're there to show the price as you're at the pump, as well as you're pulling up to the pump and into our lot.
Right. But the freestanding sign is advertising too.
Advertising for Stewart's as well as gas price, correct.
Right.
But it's also just advertising, I would assume it's just one LED.
It is.
It's just,
Just price
it's
of
just the
regular.
regular
What it
price.
says, yeah.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Okay. One of our regular members is not able to be here tonight, or he may be late. So Phyllis, our alternate, will be a regular voting member. So go ahead.
Thank you. At night,
And you're going to need, yeah, there.
I have to apologize, I'm not sure Stewart's operation hours. Do they close around 11 or 12?
Typically, yes. I don't know this specific shop, what the hours are. But yes, typically, yes.
So with the gas pricing LED lights, would they get turned off?
They are typically wired to go off, I believe it is 30 minutes after we close with the parking lot lights. And then they turn on 30 minutes before we're scheduled to open. Just safety for our, workers that are closing up at night, give them some time to get out to a car with some light on.
Okay,
But they are on timers.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the board? All right, anyone from the audience that wishes to address the Stewart's application items 1 and 5? Okay, seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Oh,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
just
Yeah,
and you may not know this, have there been any complaints from the people who live in that area right now? I know that there's only the LED sign on the road, but have there been any issues with that sign that we're aware of?
not that I know of.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
okay, anyone from the, or I guess there was no one, so is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay. Let's transition to items number 2 and number 6. Okay. This is Stewart Shops at 85 Creek Road. And once again, you can kind of give us the short tour.
Again, Marcus Andrews with Stewart's here before the board tonight for 85 Creek Road. We're looking to do an addition off the back of this building as well as some canopy and gas tank work on this site. The existing building is 10.5 feet off of the, I would say, southern property line with a 25-foot setback. The addition would actually not increase that setback. The setback would stay at 10.5, so we'd be looking at variance pretty much for our existing building of, for that discrepancy. We would also be looking, there's an existing freestanding sign that is actually, it's in the center island that's off the property. We'd be looking to move that freestanding sign, get it back to the required setback. Also include LED on that for pricing. One price similar to what you saw at our Dutchess Turnpike, as well as on these 2 new gas islands, the pump toppers.
Okay, and I understand that the sign that's there now is a freestanding sign.
Correct.
Yes,
it is.
And it's, you're going to replace it with a monument sign?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Monument sign will have brick along the bottom that'll match what the existing building is now, just to kind of tie them both together.
Okay, okay. And on this one, the county has no jurisdiction, so they can't object, I guess, is the way to put it. Christine, any questions?
No questions.
Paul?
The monument sign, are you going to have any pricing on the monument sign?
Correct, there will be, yes. We're
That's it?
proposing LED pricing on the monument sign. One product, it would be the regular priced product, looks like 16-inch LED light, letters, or numbers, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, and, okay, I guess you have answered my question, so, Larry?
No questions.
Tony?
No questions?
Carmen?
No questions.
Phyllis?
No, I have no questions.
Yeah, I think then we will have some of the same questions about the size of the pump topper. I mean, it's exactly the same
Exactly the same.
situation, yeah. In terms of, do you know, is there some reason in terms of making that sign that it has to be a certain size, or is it scalable? I mean, if we said, let's say it could be 1.5 square feet to kind of same size as the existing.
The issue with the LEDs is they do, like you would assume, the closer you get together, the smaller they get, they blur together. You lose what a 9 is as soon as you shrink it down, just because of it being illuminated.
Okay.
We have played with different size. We've never gone smaller on the pump toppers. We've played with different sizes before on our freestanding signs or monument signs. 16 is where we've come to find out, just distance-wise, again, the further away you get, they get blurry the smaller they are. So just for clarity purposes, we aim for the 16 on our freestanding.
Okay. If there are no other questions from the board, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the applications Stewart Shops, 85 Creek Road, items number 2 and 6? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, item number 3, Raymore and Flanagan, 757 Vassar Road. Good evening.
Good evening.
Your name, please?
Adam Wasilewski.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony provided tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Okay, you were here last month.
We were last month, yes.
And we held a public hearing. We were unable to act because we were waiting for the response from the county, which we have. And I need to read it into the record. To Zoning Board of Appeals, Town of Poughkeepsie. The Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the submitted referral for countywide and intermunicipal impacts as outlined in general municipal law. Action. The applicant is seeking area variances to permit 2 wall signs of 158 square feet facing Route 9 and 444 square feet facing Vassar Road, where only 1 wall sign no larger than 100 square feet is permitted. The property is located within the Highway Business District. Comments. The parcel in question is located on Vassar Road, not Route 9. As such, the applicant's stated goal of making their signs visible to traffic on Route 9 is not a valid reason on which to grant a variance. In addition, sizing the signage to communicate to motorists on Route 9 and through several intervening parcels could create a safety hazard. The building is not visible to northbound Route 9 traffic until motorists are almost into the intersection, making a right-hand turn onto Vassar Road, at that point unsafe. The proposed wall signs are unnecessarily large, containing a combined square footage of more than 6 times what is allowed by code. Although the applicant has pointed out that they are replacing existing non-conforming signs, we encourage the town to take this opportunity to greatly reduce the sign volume on the site. thereby improving the overall aesthetics of the area. It is worth noting that the use of standard upper and lowercase letters improves readability. If the sign were adjusted to reduce the letter size while incorporating lowercase letters, readability could be maintained through a smaller sign. As New York state law directs that only the minimum amount of variance be granted, and as the applicant has not provided adequate justification for additional or larger sign, we suggest that the signs be reduced to conform to the town's code. Recommendation: for the reasons stated above, we recommend that the board deny the request for the proposed wall signs. Voting and reporting requirements: if the board acts contrary to our recommendations, the law requires that it do so by a majority plus one of the full membership of the board, and that it notify us of the reasons for its decision. Signed, Owen Rafter, Commissioner, by Janet Tessier, Junior Planner. Okay. Okay, obviously they were looking at your original
proposal. Right.
proposal. And so, at the last meeting, you handed out a revised version, and I assume that's currently what's on
That's correct.
that
yeah.
application.
Yeah. If you need additional copies, let me know.
Okay. I think, does everyone have the, you do not?
No, I don't do.
Oh, okay. All right, let me see. Oh, do you have?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful.
Is this?
Square feet.
No, okay, I have mine.
What did they want? They wanted 100.
Yeah. So so if you could just kind of, for the record, let us know what the new proposal is.
Yeah, so the new proposal is requesting a box sign on the front of the store facing Vassar Road of 150 square feet, and then also a box sign on the side facing Route 9 of 150 square feet as well, both of which stating Raymore and Flanagan Furniture Mattress Outlet, which is the current concept that exists in the store today.
Okay, all right.
I feel like that satisfies, obviously, that we got the county's comments, about wanting capital letters and lowercase letter. We feel like that fits that, and then also the character of the neighborhood.
Okay. Christine, questions?
No
comments?
questions.
Paul?
No.
I must say, I find this more readable than the original one, even though it's smaller. I mean, it's a good-looking sign. Larry?
No questions.
Tony?
No questions.
Carmen?
And there's a color change too.
That's correct. Yeah, this is consistent with this new outlet concept that we're rolling out. This is going to be the 17th outlet that we'll have rolled out throughout our portfolio. So the color scheme is consistent with it.
For some reason, it's more readable.
Yeah, I think just the white on the purple.
I can't quite explain why, but.
Yeah, pops a little more.
Thank you.
Yeah, Phyllis?
How big are the current
Good.
signs? How big are the current signs on the
The
building?
current signs are, they were in the initial proposal. They, check here, just to make sure, 444 square feet on the front. Right now it's red channel letter that go across the top of the facade. And then the one facing Route 9 is 158 square feet.
Okay. So the one is a little bit smaller and the
Slightly
other's
smaller, but-
quite a bit smaller.
But facing, obviously, the busier thoroughfare there.
Okay, thank you.
And just, we heard the comment from the gentleman in the house next door regarding the lighting in the parking lot overnight hours. We've since tilted those down about two weeks ago. So hopefully that resolves the issue he was having with those shining into his house.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
If there are no other questions, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the application Raymore and Flanagan, 757 Vassar Road? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, thank you very much. Item number 4, Ashley Furniture Home Store at 1895 South Road.
Hello.
Okay, and your name is?
Carly Galterio. And I am here on behalf of, do I have to swear in first? Is that how?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your
I
knowledge?
do, yes. I'm here on behalf of the Ashley Home Store Furniture located at 1895 South Road in Poughkeepsie, New York. I believe you have all received the revised plans with much less signage than we were here with last time.
Okay, and so before you begin, we too had to adjourn the meeting last time because we hadn't heard from the county, and again, we have gotten their letter. And so let me just quickly read this into the record, and then you can comment on it. The Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the subject referral within the framework of general municipal law. The applicant is seeking area variances to permit 2 wall signs of 150 square feet, 2 wall signs of 71.54 square feet, and a wall sign of 34.3 square feet, where only 1 wall sign no larger than 100 square feet is permitted. The applicant is proposing an excessive amount of signage for this site. If the requested variances were to be granted, the combined square footage would be more than 4 times what is allowed by code. Our department discourages excessive and unnecessary signage, as multiple signs can become confusing and lead to requests for additional signage from adjacent businesses who would also like additional presence on the street. The applicant has proposed several signs in addition to the main Ashley Home Store sign on the east elevation of the building. The main sign, positioned above the storefront doors, will convey the corporate identity to potential customers as well as the location to enter the premises. Although the applicant states in its request for variances that proposed signage will match the flow of the rest of the signs within the shopping center, a review of adjacent signs revealed that the other stores do not maintain additional signs, such as house logos and sleep shop signs. The home store logo signs proposed for the adjoining corners of the east and south elevations are identical to the logos represented in the main Ashley Home Store sign and are therefore duplicative and unnecessary. The proposed sleep shop sign on the east elevation does not convey any corporate image or identity or identify an entrance to the business. The proposed Ashley Home Store sign is on the south facade is unnecessary, as potential customers traveling the various access roads to this location will already see the main store sign on the east facade. In fact, since all other stores in this shopping center maintain wall signs above store entrances, allowing a wall sign on the south facade will suggest that the store can be accessed from the southern side, which may confuse potential customers. Recommendation: New York State directs that the board only grant the minimum amount of variance necessary. For the reasons stated above, we recommend all variances be denied. The business will be amply identified with a single 100-foot square foot wall sign as allowed per code. Voting and reporting requirements. If the board acts contrary to our recommendation, the law requires that it do so by a majority plus 1 of the full membership of the board, and that it notify us of the reasons for its decision. Signed, Owen Rafter, Commissioner, by Janet Tessier, Junior Planner. Okay. So, again, obviously, they were responding to your additional, or your original application, and you've since modified that. So
Correct.
if you would tell us now what the current proposal is.
All right, so currently our proposal is to have over the main elevation, it's the south elevation, as seen there, the Ashley Home Store with the logo at 144 square foot. So previously we were seeking 150. However, we did revise that. We did receive approval for an outlet sign at 144 square foot, which had been previously approved by variance, I believe in 2011. So next door to that, we will have a 144 square foot outlet sign, and the reason we would like to have the home store at 144 square foot as well is because we believe it'll keep the fluency of the look of the building by having both signs of the same size. Additionally, we are still seeking approval of the sleep shop sign. This Ashley Home Store does have will have 5,000 square foot of dedicated space to mattresses and other sleep needs. At other Ashley Home Stores that do have this space as well with the sign, it happens to be about 20% of the business that comes through the store, where people are just coming, customers are coming solely to shop for mattresses. So that having that sleep shop sign, which will be 34.3 square foot, that tells customers that it has that dedicated space to that, and they can go there solely for mattresses. They may not be going there for anything additional except for mattresses, which is why the client feels that they would like to have that sign. I do want to point out, I'm going to come over here and flip the board around. So we took a trip over to the shopping center, and we took pictures of other stores that do have additional ancillary signs. So ShopRite here has this pharmacy sign, which we believe presents the same case, that without having that sign there, customers don't know that there's this dedicated space specifically for that. Chuck E. Cheese also has 2 additional signs that we noticed pulling out. They're kind of hidden behind the trees, but ShopRite also, we noticed, has a drive-through sign. So they actually have 2 smaller ancillary signs in addition to their main storefront sign. So we wanted to point that out because we do feel that the sleep shop sign is necessary. And that is my case.
Okay. Christine?
So just to clarify, requesting one sign that says Ashley Home Store, one that says Ashley Home Store Outlet, and then the sleep shop signs.
The outlet has already been approved.
Okay,
They were treated as 2 separate.
okay.
It's almost like a Marshalls and a TJ Maxx sort of deal, or Home Goods.
That's all, thank you.
Paul?
No questions.
Can anybody confirm my memory that New York state law requires that pharmacies be labeled? I believe we went through this with Walgreens, where again, the code said you can only have one sign, and their response was that they were that you're required to advertise if a pharmacy is available.
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, so-
all right. That may or may not be relevant here.
Okay.
I mean, your point is well taken about these other places. Last time when this came up, there was some discussion about the sleep shop and the fact that all of the other signs in that whole mall area identify entrances. And this one will not. And the suggestion was made that you might be able to use window space to advertise a sleep shop. I mean, I believe the code allows you to use up to 25% of the window area for signs. And given at least my looking at the facade, it would seem that you could put a 36 square foot sign in the window. You know, and then we wouldn't have the problem of something up on the facade where there's no door.
I do understand that point that you're making. However, there is a lot of shrubbery in that area, and the space between the actual building front and the parking lot, as you know, even the entrance coming through the lot is quite far back. So it might be the decision between a customer coming into the area, potentially searching for mattresses or somewhere to shop for that. There are other places in the area, not within the shopping center, that do sell mattresses. Actually, Bob's Furniture, I'm not sure if they sell mattresses or not, but that could be the difference between a customer going there and going to the Ashley Home Store in search for a mattress. Not seeing that sign, the potential of having the shrubbery block that, or not being able to see it from that far away coming into the lot.
Okay. Larry?
Bob's doesn't advertise they have mattresses.
I'm not sure if they do or not,
They do,
but.
yeah, they do.
They do.
Okay. Well, that is my point, that I wouldn't know that, whether or not, if they didn't have a sign there. So that is why we are seeking to have a sleep shop sign, to specifically note that we do sell mattresses and that we have dedicated space for that.
No, I don't want to, I'm not trying to harass you.
No, it's okay.
But you could make exactly the same argument about, you know, recliners or rocking chairs. And we have had issues with certain restaurants who think for some reason they have to put their whole menu out on the side of the building, you know. I mean, when you go to Red Lobster, do you have to be told that they also sell shrimp?
Understood, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Tony?
I have nothing.
Okay. Carmen? Yes.
You said that the shrubbery is blocking the sleep shop. Well, something can be done about shrubbery, right?
I do believe so, yes. There is a potential for that.
Yes, there is. And if, what would be the best way if a customer wanted to go into the sleep shop? Which entrance would be best?
To my knowledge, there's only one entrance in this building, which is underneath the Ashley Home Store sign.
Okay. Yeah. I would be very, very much in favor of the window sign. If there's not a direct entrance into the sleep shop.
Right. Regardless of the shrubbery, because you're right that shrubbery could potentially be removed and changed, I still feel that because of the distance from the driveway coming into the lot, that it's difficult for customers to see. A lot of times with window vinyl, you can get a glare from it. That makes it difficult for clients to see that. So having the sleep shop, you know, if you're coming from South Road, it's a far away distance. Even coming up the hill, you wouldn't be able to see the windows.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Phyllis?
I have no questions.
Okay. Any other questions to the board? Anyone from the audience wish to address the Ashley Furniture Home Store application, 1895 South Road? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? recusals? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 7, William and Roxanne Cosma, 58 Crestwood Boulevard. And I believe, Paul, you're recusing yourself on this application.
Hi, good evening, Roxanne Cosma, 68 Crestwood Boulevard.
I remember that.
And I'd be William.
Okay.
Yes.
You swear, each of you swear or affirm the testimony provided tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
I do.
Okay.
It's like being married, I do. We're back.
You folks are getting to be old friends here. Okay.
Not to each other, but to you guys.
Okay. But,
Don't
never.
touch that. We don't touch that.
Yeah. Okay, so.
We're here
this month's-
attempting to legalize and comply. That's essentially
Okay.
what it is.
And this concerns the deck that's
Yes.
on the back of your.
Yes,
right
it is
now.
it is an 8 by 12 deck, and it is 8 feet off the property line where it needs to be the 20. But it is not any bigger or extend beyond the existing house.
Okay. And if I remember correctly, the garage and the extension to the garage that we talked about last month is even closer to that property line.
Yes.
That's on the other side.
Yes, but that's in the back and on the other side. But yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's like 6 feet in from the
Something like,
property line.
yeah, something like, yeah, okay, okay. All right, Christine,
No questions.
Paul, or I'm sorry, and I have no questions, I already asked mine. Larry,
No question.
Tony,
I have no questions.
Carmen?
How's your truck?
Like that.
I like that truck.
That's good. I had it out the other day.
What year is it?
59.
59, oh, wow, okay. Phyllis?
I have no questions.
Phyllis, okay. There are no other questions? Anyone in the audience wish to address 68 Crestwood Boulevard? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Then there's one recusal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
They're cute.
Item number 8, Sophia Galaska, 14 Shelley Road. If I've mispronounced that, my apologies.
That neighborhood is huge. We had trouble finding shelter.
I'm Michael Lockwood of Lockwood Architecture.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Very well.
Okay, so if you
Okay.
tell us about this project?
Yep, I'm here to request an area variance. Mainly, I came to the board for area variance for a new front entry foyer. Right now, the residence enters onto a landing of a staircase, and there's nowhere to relieve yourself of your jacket or any kind of formal entries to the home. So, where the new entry I proposed is 2.5 feet over the front line setback. But during the process, we've also discovered that there's some pre-existing non-conforming conditions, the side of the house, the side of the rear addition, and also a small wooden shed and a metal shed in the rear yard. That is also slightly over the sideline. Mainly because this particular lot is at the very corner on a turn, and this lot got kind of slighted by giving a truncated, like trapezoidal type of lot. So I'm here to try to, get area variance to get the pre-existing non-conforming conditions approved, as well as this new front yard setback, so she can have a formal entry.
Okay. Christine?
No questions.
Paul?
No questions.
Okay, now, on the drawing, you have talk about a potential addition that would go over the current garage.
Oh, yeah, that's something she's looking to potentially do in the future. That's not.
But that's got nothing to do with this current
Correct.
application?
Nothing to do with it.
Okay, fine. All right. In that case, I have no problems here at all. Larry?
No questions.
Tony?
No questions.
Carmen?
No question.
Phyllis?
When was the original addition?
Sorry.
When was the addition put on the house that you're also looking to rectify tonight? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to go to get a foil or something. It would have been permitted at some point, but I don't know.
I believe it's 1976.
Oh,
This is on the parcel access.
Right.
Sheet. And they talk about yeah, I think that's it. Okay, in any case, it was a while ago.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's-
So,
Okay, no further questions.
yeah. No, it wasn't since the last code was revised. Okay. All right, any other questions from the board? And anyone from the audience would like to address 14 Shelley Road? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, all right. Okay, that takes us actually to the end of our application agenda. We do have two other items, but I think let's go into the deliberation phase for these 8 items, and then we can take care of the others. They're relatively routine matters. So let's go back to items number 1 and number, is it 6? 5. Number, well, no, wait a minute. Wait, let's just do these in order. That's going to be a lot less confusing when it comes time to recording all of these. Okay, so item number 1, Stewart Shops, 1200 Duchess Turnpike. This is a variance to allow an addition, a freezer to the existing building, which will have a side yard setback of 22.3 feet, where 25 feet is required. This is a type 2 action, so we don't have to do any environmental review. The county did not comment on it, and there is a staff report in your packet that recommends that this variant be approved. Okay, any questions, discussion? Anybody have any problems with this? Okay.
The only thing I was going to suggest possibly is that it was mentioned that there are different kind of finishes that can be done, different colors on there. And I guess there's one that's proposed, but it could be possible to allow the staff to look at some samples and make sure we're comfortable that the one they selected is the one that we think matches best the building, if you wanted to. I'm not terribly concerned about it, but I think that, we could have that flexibility if need be.
Yeah, I think the applicant mentioned that it would
match the brick.
Yeah, be in keeping with the building. We could add that as will this have to have a site plan review? Will the planning board be looking at it?
The planning board will be looking at it, yeah. So we could also address the colors.
That really is something that they typically do, and, you know, if this were not going before it, you know, we often say if you're adding a garage or something, make it match the house. But in this case, I think we'll leave that to the planning board. Okay, Christine, you want to make the motion on this one?
I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 1. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by the board members and the staff report. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth in the staff report. So move.
Second.
Okay, motion made and second to approve item number 1. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay. Item number 1 is approved. Okay, item 2. Stewart Shops at 85 Creek Road. Variances to allow 1, the location of an existing structure to which an addition will be constructed to be 10.5 feet from the side lot line where 25 feet is required. And 2, to allow an existing electronic message display sign which will be moved to a new location. Okay, this is an unlisted action, so I move that the ZBA declare itself lead agency for purposes of review or environmental review of the application in item number 2.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I further move that the ZBA, based on the information contained in the environmental short form, finds that the action proposed in item number 2 will have no significant impact on the environment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, again, any questions or problems here? I actually like the idea of the monument sign, and it'll get the freestanding sign out of the right-of-way. The side lot line, I note that it's really almost a technical issue. The addition that they're building is actually going to be further away from the side lot line because, as it happens, the building and the lot line are not quite parallel. So that the addition is not going to make the existing encroachment any worse. So from that point of view, it will have little impact. Okay, if there's no further discussion, Paul, do you want to do this one?
Sure. Was there a staff report on this?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Then I move.
Oh, I'm sorry, and it recommends that, well, let's see, I can read the conclusion. It's respectively submitted that the granting the area variance for the side yard setback would not result in any detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community, and that the variance should be granted. And that the banding or the EMD sign should also not result in any detriment, and the variance should be granted with the following condition, and the condition is...
Just doing the addition though now, right? Are we doing both?
No, we're just doing, this is for moving the sign,
Okay.
so that the pump toppers will come separately. But the condition is that the signage will conform to all of the other existing conditions for these EMD signs, which simply makes explicit what is in the code already.
So I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 2. The decision is based upon a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, results of site board visits, and the staff report. In approving the variance, the board adopts its findings, determinations found in items 1 through 5 of the staff report, as well as the condition listed.
Second?
Okay, motion to approve item number 2 has been made and seconded. If there's any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, approved, 7-0. Item number 3, Raymore and Flanagan, 757 Vassar Road. This is a modification of the original application. This is an unlisted action, so I move that the ZBA declare itself lead agency for the purpose of the environmental review of item number 3.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I further move that the ZBA finds, based on the information supplied in the EAF short form, that the action proposed in item number 3 will have no significant impact on the environment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Again, there's a staff report, and let's see, is the staff report revised?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And it recommends that the granting of the area variance for two 150 square foot signs totaling 300 square feet seems reasonable given the size of the building, and is a significant reduction from the over 600 square feet of total signage that currently exists. The granting of the variance would not result in any detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community. And that's it.
Okay, Larry, you want to do this one?
I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 3. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings.
Larry, can you talk in the
Yeah,
mic?
pull your, there, thank you.
In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth by the chair.
So, in the staff report.
As set forth by the staff reports.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Okay, there's no further discussion. Did somebody second that? Oh, wonderful, okay. So if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Approved?
This one's a county objected to, right?
7-0.
Yes.
So don't we have
A
to,
different proposal.
okay, so we don't have to list any reasons?
So,
I'm comfortable with the discussion that we had during the meeting as listing the reasons for the approval of this compared to the original recommendation and when we draft up the resolution, I think it will have sufficient information in there to send to the county.
Okay.
oh, yeah, well,
Because because the county recommended denial of the original, so we need to advise them why.
Okay. I mean, it seems to me just the staff report is pretty much sufficient for the county, isn't it? I would hope.
Typically, we send them the actual resolution.
Okay.
As the reasoning, so.
Okay. All right, item 4, Ashley Furniture Home Store, 1895 South Road. And under the revised application, they're seeking a variance for one wall sign of 144 square feet. And one wall sign of 34.3 square feet, where only one wall sign per building side facing a public street is allowed. So the variance would allow a somewhat larger main sign and an additional sign, the sleep shop. This is an unlisted action, so I move that the ZBA declare itself lead agency for purposes of the environmental review of item number 4.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recusals? I move that the ZBA finds, based on the information included in the EAF short form, that the action proposed in item number 4 will have no significant impact on the environment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. So, now, discussion on the main motion. You will find in your packet a staff recommendation that suggests that we approve a variant only for the one wall sign of 144 square feet. Discussion?
What have we decided about the sleep shop?
Well, we have to decide on that.
Okay.
That's, the staff report does not recommend that.
Right.
I mean, we've had some back and forth on that. So, where are people on this?
I think we discussed, there was something that could be done with the shrubbery. And also, there's no entrance to the sleep shop. And I think the window sign would be much more appropriate.
Okay.
I think that, we're going to talk about the sleep sign first.
Yeah.
I think that the building is so far away from Route 9 that the considerations for the code have limited applicability. I think that there's really little impact once you're inside the grounds, and I don't see any real detriment to the area. There have been, regardless of whether they're required or not, additional ancillary signs in other businesses. And I don't see it as a big impact to the environment, and I would be for it.
So you would...
I would vote for it, yeah.
You would approve the...
I would.
Sleep shop, okay.
I mean, aesthetically, sleep shop sign looks much better than a window plastered up with all sorts of signs. I mean, it's like John's Bargain Store, so anybody remembers that,
Okay.
Not necessarily true.
Okay. Anyone else?
I tend to think that the sleep shop sign is small enough that it's not that obtrusive. It's neat looking, it's not, I don't have a terrible problem with it.
Okay. I'm leaning against it, but as Betty would say, that's why there are 7 of us. I think my reasons are more have to do with what has been our policy over the last few years. I mean, we've denied a lot of others that wanted secondary signs. To me, obviously the Ashley people differ, but most furniture stores these days have beds and mattresses and whatever. It's not as if this is so different that the public has to be advised. But that's where I stand on this.
I have a question. Is that their tree in front? I mean, is that theirs?
It would probably belong to the owners of the plaza, be part of a landscaping plan that was approved as part of a site plan.
So they might not have the ability to get rid of it.
Right.
That's possible.
If it's between a sign and a tree, I tell you, I really have to stand up for the tree.
Okay. 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 Well,
Can vote on the variances separately. Vote on them separately.
we could vote on them separately. Okay. All right, let's do that. Let's do that.
How's everyone on the other side? On the other side, is everyone okay on that one?
Okay, so let's vote first on the one wall sign of 144 square feet. So essentially, this is a sign they have by right, and what we're doing is allowing them to be more than the 100 square feet. Okay. All right. On this one, I think there's kind of a consensus. It matches the one on the outlet, which I think makes good sense. In fact, if it were a different size, it would look, I think, peculiar. So is there a general consensus on the one Ashley home store? Okay, all right. So, I don't know, Tony, you make the motion on that one?
Okay. Do we call this 4A?
Yeah.
I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item 4A. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth by the staff report. The approval of this variance is so moved. There are no conditions.
Right.
Second.
Fine.
Okay, so the first variance, part A of number 4, been moved and seconded. There's no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recusals? Okay, so that is approved. Okay, now, as a separate motion, let's see. Okay, so this would be for the one wall sign, or an additional wall sign of 34 point, is it 3?
Yeah.
3 square feet. And, okay, let's see.
The only comment I have about the sleep shop is, aesthetically, I have no problem with it. But if we approve this one, do we open up the door to possibly see Bob's coming in 6 months and saying, hey, I'd like to advertise on my storefront that we have a sleep shop. Now, I know Bob's has a sleep shop because he does a lot of extensive television advertising. He does no print advertising. He's a green guy. But he uses other media to get his message across. So my only concern is, and I don't know that that's going to happen really, but if we do approve it, and there's another furniture store only a couple of doors down, and I don't know that we have any right to refuse anybody else that same opportunity in the same business.
It's not so much, I think, the same business, but the same environmental conditions.
Right.
So if those were the same, then I wouldn't object to that one either. And I don't think I think that our reasoning would have to be the same if the conditions are all the same. And I would see that without visualizing Bob's at this point, but if those conditions were the same, then I wouldn't have any problem with that one either.
Yeah, I don't think his storefront is aesthetically conducive to doing what Ashley's would like to do.
Correct.
But yeah.
Also, Ashley's has 5,000 square feet and a significant percentage of the business, whereas Bob's is a very small store.
I've never been in it.
Okay, yeah, I take these points, but I think more persuaded by the first question you asked, could other stores come in? And I think obviously they could. People can apply for variances, of any sort. We don't necessarily have to grant them.
I don't have a problem with this.
Yes.
think that, we just have to be prepared that if another application comes forward.
Right.
We just have to follow the same rules, which we've done in the past.
Right.
Right. The code in this case is very clear about, one sign, 100 square feet. It's quite restrictive. It is. But it's also very clear. And, it seems to me that if that is too stringent, then the town board needs to change the code. But the way it stands, it's to me, there's not much wiggle room here. I mean, there's no provisions for the size of the store. There's no provisions for stores that have a very wide variety of things for sale.
Anybody tell me why Chuck E. Cheese has multiple mouse heads on the building in addition to their Chuck E. Cheese logo?
Fondly known as the rodent, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if, I don't know if anybody was on the board when that was approved.
Yeah, I do remember that discussion.
We didn't refer to them as mouse heads, though.
Mouse heads.
Right.
They had a different term.
As I recall, the discussion there had to do with the fact that that's a freestanding building that is actually way on the other side. And one of the arguments was that building, unlike the others, as Paul pointed out, is visible from Route 9. But if you're on Route 9, you cannot see Ashley or others, but you can see the Chuck E. Cheese. And as I recall, there was a difference of opinion on the board over exactly that logo. Beyond that, I don't remember exactly the details of the discussion, but that was an issue. But it was also decided, I guess, eventually that building really was a kind of entity unto itself, and that the location near Route 9 made it different than the rest of the mall.
Jim,
Yeah.
why is it that, and maybe you don't know this, why didn't Ashley put Ashley Home Store and Sleep Shop on their sign on Route 9?
You mean the monument sign?
Yeah,
They are.
or is that changed?
They're gonna have two.
Right, one's a home store, one's the outlet, though, right?
Yeah.
I think she's just asking.
Yeah, and they're entitled to a slot for each of them.
Right, I'm confused as to why they didn't put and Sleep Shop on the one that says Ashley Home Store. Okay.
Okay. Well, and for that matter, the main 144 square foot sign could be redesigned to include
You are
Sleep Shop.
correct.
The content of the sign is up to them.
Okay.
I thought part of it was that was a separate part of, notwithstanding the fact there was no separate entrance to it, but that was a separate and dedicated portion of the building. So it's not just that they're selling mattresses inside the building, but this sent them over to that area, even though there's no entrance, no separate entrance for it, was my impression.
Yes, apparently there is a dedicated section of what is a very large store. But in the approval of the other signs, they were all signs that were located for the entrance.
Right.
And in a large mall, that makes sense. I mean,
Right.
Looking at that facade from a distance, it's not clear where the doors are. I mean, it's these arches and porticos and whatever, some of which are entrances and some of which aren't.
Okay.
Okay, okay, now, in terms of, bringing this to a vote, let's see, we have to decide whether we're gonna do this frame the resolution as a positive or as a negative.
Right.
Now, because of the county's objection, we're going to need 5 votes for a positive. So I would assume that that's the way we start. Is that?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so, I don't know, Tony, you want to, this is a can of worms.
Chairman,
Yeah,
why don't you do a straw poll first, because we're gonna have to come up with conditions if you can do it in a positive, so we might as well do a straw poll first to see where everybody is.
okay, that's fine with me. So
So I'm good.
you're being in favor of granting the variance?
Correct.
Okay, and,
I think maybe not, that now thinking about the county and opening up other, potential, I think maybe I would vote no.
okay,
I'm really confusing you, sorry.
okay, I would vote no.
I vote yes.
I vote no.
I vote no.
Okay, so it's.
Probably no.
We don't,
I'm with Christine.
okay, there are not 5 votes, so. Okay, so, let's see, let me see if I can kind of do this. Okay, I move that the board deny the request for an area variance for an additional wall sign of 34.3 square feet, set forth in the second part of item number 4B. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In denying this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth in items 1 through 5 of the staff report. So move.
Second.
Was that Phyllis?
Phyllis,
Oh, Phil, sorry.
Thank you.
is that going to work?
Sure.
Oh, okay. I thought you were starting to say something, okay. All right. Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded to deny the second smaller sleep shop wall sign.
So let's do a roll call vote, just so we have it for the record.
Christine?
No.
Paul?
Wait,
You know,
you're voting to deny, so you're voting yes.
So, yeah, an aye vote is to deny.
Paul?
Nay.
Jim?
Aye.
Larry?
Nay.
I,
I'm going to
Carmen?
deny. Aye?
Wait,
Okay.
Aye.
So it's 5.
5 to 2 to deny, okay, which is, okay. All right, now we're at item 5, okay. Stewart Shops, 1200 Dutchess Turnpike, variances to allow, 1, an electronic message display sign in a BN district, and 2, a sign of 2.15 square feet where 1 square foot is allowed. This is an unlisted action, so I move that the ZBA declare itself lead agency for the purpose of the environmental review of the application in item 5.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I move that the ZBA finds that the application in item number 5, based on the information in an EAF short form, finds that the action proposed in item number 5 will have no significant impact on the environment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. In this case, We've got two issues. One is the use of an electronic message display sign on top of the gas pumps. And the second issue is the size of that sign. The request is for 2.15 square feet. The code would allow 1 square foot. There is a staff report that incorporated this it's in the staff report for item number 1 that also discusses the display sign. And on that, notwithstanding the outcome of the discussion about the size of the proposed pump top pricing signs, it is respectfully submitted that the granting of the variances for the LED pump top pricing signage would not result in any detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community, and that the variances should be granted with the following condition, and that's that the pump top pricing conform to the other requirements of section 210.123.1. Okay. On the issue of the LED, the electronic message display sign in general, people have any problem with that? Okay.
I think the applicant makes a good point that the code, I think, contemplates a different kind of EMD than this. And actually, I think this has less of an impact on the environment than the regular black and white paper ones.
I agree with you. I mean, if instead of using LEDs, you used neon tubing, would yeah. And I do think, I thought that was a good point. And I think maybe, some down the line when the code gets rewritten, that maybe that distinction should be made. And plus the fact that every gasoline station has this kind of signage that, seems to me to deny it here would be a little arbitrary, but. Okay, so we're okay on that one. What about the size of the sign? People okay with that?
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah, once again, I think it has less of an impact than the regular sign.
Yeah, it's a little bigger than what's there now. But
I think that, the visual impact is lessened.
Mm-hmm.
How big are they proposing? Because it's
2.1 square feet, and when we were out there, you'll recall, I borrowed Christine's tape measure and we actually worked it out. And it turns out that
it decrease it, right?
it's going to be a little bigger than what's there now.
1.5.
Yeah. The current sign is 26 inches by 10 inches, which works out to 1.8 square feet.
Right.
And they're looking at 2.1.
Right.
So
Okay.
we're, this is, not a lot. So I'm fine with it.
I think it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, Tony, you did, Carmen, I think we're on to you.
You want me to do this one?
Number
Okay.
5, yep.
All right. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 6.
5.
5. Oh, it's 5. Oh, okay. I'm moving ahead of myself here. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving or denying this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth by the chair.
Let's amend that, the findings set forth in the staff report for item 1 with the conditions set forth in the recommendation.
All right.
Okay?
Second.
Okay. Motion to approve. Item number 5 been made and seconded. If there's no further, and just should note, this is the one where the county recommended that we deny it. So,
No, oh, yeah.
yeah, on Dutchess Turnpike. So, I think in terms of the reporting to the county, I would emphasize the point that Paul made about how this functions in a different way than the traditional message display. That it's really a fixed. Okay, all right. So all of that. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, item 7 is approved. Or item 5 is approved, 7-0. Okay, item number 6, variances to allow an electronic message display sign in a business district, BN district, and 2, a sign of 2.15 square feet where 1 square foot is allowed. This is also an unlisted action, so I move that the ZBA declare itself lead agency
Second?
for the purposes of the environmental review of item number 6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I move that the ZBA finds, based on the information in an EAF short form, that the action proposed in item number 6 will have no significant impact on the environment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recusals? Okay. On the motion itself, I think it's almost identical to the last one.
Yeah.
So here, the county has not made any objections, so we don't have to worry about reporting. I guess it's your turn, Phyllis.
I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 6. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearings, and the results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings set forth in the staff report,
Yes.
and there weren't any special conditions, correct?
Actually, it's the staff report for item number 1, including the conditions in its recommendation, or including the recommendations in the conclusion. And these are simply saying that the conditions for all these, I think the major one is that it can't have any moving sign, any moving messages or flashing or things like that. I don't know, do you want to?
Basically, yes, it's the sections of the code that would apply to something like this. There's other elements there, like not having more than one, which clearly this didn't fit. So I took all the ones that fit, and I listed them there. So those are the conditions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so Phyllis moves item 6.
Second.
Okay, second. There's no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Item 6 approved, 7-0. Item number 7, William and Roxanne Cosma, 68 Crestwood Boulevard. This is a variance to allow an existing deck to have a side yard setback of 8 feet where 20 feet is required. It's a type 2 action, so there's no environmental review. There is not a staff report for this. Let's see what's been submitted here. Okay. Okay. I think we can use as findings what has been submitted by the applicant. It basically says that there will be no impact on the character of the neighborhood. Many houses in that neighborhood have similar decks. I think the only thing I would add is that the board notes that the deck has been there for a substantial time and has created no problems. Yeah, okay, I think that'll do it. Okay, Christine, do you want to do this one?
Okay. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 7. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings set forth in the application and just added to by the chair.
Okay,
So moved.
there a second?
Second, please.
Okay. And we note that there's one recusal on this. Okay, moved and seconded. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and there's one recusal. So item number 7 is approved 601. Item number 8, Sophia Galaska, 14 Shelley Road. 3 variances. 1, to allow the construction of a home addition with the front lot setback of 27.6 feet where 30 feet is required. 2, the existing home addition, to allow an existing home addition to have a side yard setback of 14.7 feet where 20 feet is required. And 3, to allow an existing shed be set back 3 feet 10 inches from the side lot line where 10 feet is required. This is a type 2 action, and for the findings, I propose as follows. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood, the board finds that the renovation proposed and the renovations already constructed are consistent with the neighborhood, which consists of a number of houses that over the years have been enlarged and renovated. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method, the board finds that the desire to produce a more attractive and more functional front entryway requires that the front yard setback be reduced. 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial, the front yard setback will make is insubstantial. Given the configuration of the lot, it is almost is very difficult to detect. The side yard setbacks, again, given the configuration of the lot and the existing screening between neighboring properties, makes the requested variance fairly minor. 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions, the board finds that it will have no impact. And 5, whether the difficulty was self-created. Yes, the difficulty is self-created in the sense that the applicant has chosen to have renovations made to the house. It is, but this does not preclude the granting of the variance. So I propose those as the findings. Okay, any discussion? I think this one's pretty straightforward. So Paul, would you like?
Sure. I move to approve an area variance request set forth in item number 8. Decisions based upon a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered by the public hearing, results of site visits by board members, In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth by the chair.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the variances in item 8. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Approved 7-0. Okay, we have 2 additional items. Have you all received the staff report with the attached letter concerning Friendly Honda, 1121, 1159 Dutchess Turnpike?
Yes.
Okay. Essentially, this is a request for an extension, a 2-year extension to expire on June 11th, 2020, to allow the completion of the variances that we originally passed in July of 2012. I think given what they've done so far, I think we can be confident that they're going to complete these and probably do it quite well. So I have no problem approving this, but are there others that?
Problem.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's see. What form should the resolution take? It's not really a variance, or is it?
No, it's just a resolution to approve a time extension.
Oh, okay. So I move that the ZBA approve the request from Friendly Honda, 1121, 1159 Dutchess Turnpike, for a 2-year extension to expire on June 11th, 2020, for the completion of the work approved by the variances granted on July 12th, 2012.
Second.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, approved 7-0. And the final item, which I just, it was just transmitted to us from the town board, is a request by the town board to be lead agency for the zoning map amendment and zoning text change in regard to the redevelopment of the former Raymond Avenue School at 2531 Raymond Avenue. Okay. And I will simply read the project description and allow Mr. Welty to comment it on if he wishes. Project description and site conditions. The applicant proposes the project would include redevelopment of the site of approximately 168 plus or minus apartments with clubhouse amenities, 86,592 plus or minus square feet of commercial space, 110 room hotel and specialty retail and restaurants, open area including an outdoor seating area, and 279 parking spaces.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is that this is, they've modified their application somewhat, and so it was decided that the town board would go ahead and circulate once again to reaffirm its intent to be the lead agency. And so that's all we're doing tonight, or being asked to do tonight, is just confirm that the ZBA is okay with that.
So they're gonna rip the school down?
The previous application was, they had attempted to reuse the school. They've since found that they are unable to do so. And they presented to the town board their reasons for that at the last meeting. It still, of course, needs to go through the approval process, but they were unsuccessful in getting historic tax credit that they would have needed to make that possible. So the current effort will be, there's some details still to be worked out about whether they can use some of the materials from the building in the new facade for the hotel or in other buildings in the project, but they would not be able to reuse the building as it's currently laid out.
And how many acres is that site, please?
It is seven, I think 7 and change.
Yeah.
Oh, 6.8 acres, yes.
And there's still, you know, it obviously needs town board approval and planning board approval still. I don't know that we've confirmed whether or not it will actually be coming back to the ZBA at this point or not, but it may, wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me see. It doesn't specifically say that there's anything at present that we would be asked to provide a variance for. That may very well happen as it goes forward. The configuration of the site is a little constrained, largely because it's right smack on the arterial, which means that you can have no entrance or exits there. It's right on Raymond Avenue, which is a state road, and they've got a whole bunch of issues about the entrance, especially the one that's closest to the arterial. So you know, there may have to be another entrance exit, perhaps through another property or a reconfigure. So yeah, we may very well see this again, but this is simply for a lead agency to do the environmental review, and quite frankly, we simply don't have the resources to do that. I think this is, in the past, we've always, it's usually been, we've let the planning board do it, but in this case, it looks like they want to rewrite some of the zoning code. And so the town board would be the appropriate lead agency for that.
Jim, was there a reason that they will tear down the school is because of structural damage or beyond rehab?
Yeah, I wasn't present for that discussion. All I can tell you in terms of the meetings that I've attended, this has gone back and forth. You know, at one point, it was the internal configuration and the structural constraints of the existing building made it very difficult to reuse it. The floors are at different levels, so you have all kinds of accessibility and fire issues, and you can't just start ripping out walls because many of the walls are what's holding the building up. In the discussions I had, the initial decision was probably the building would not be able to be reused. Then they changed their mind, and I think it's gone back and forth a couple of times.
I would just add that from my understanding from hearing the presentation from the developers is that they would have preferred to use the building. And I think they've made very significant efforts to try to make that work. Probably much more so than most would have. I think they reluctantly feel now that they would not be able to make the project work if they were to keep going. And I would encourage, again, the planning board, town board are going to be reviewing this over the next several months. I would encourage anyone who's interested to ask those questions at our at those meetings.
At those meetings.
And who is the developer?
Reckes, Jacob Reckes.
They're not, are they local?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I move that the ZBA approve the request from the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Board, yeah, okay, that they serve as the lead agency for the purpose of the environmental review of the zoning map amendment and zoning text change.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Opposed, okay. So the motion passes 6-1-0. Okay, that brings us to the end of the agenda. If there are any other items come before us? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that was unanimously sponsored. Okay.